Okay, go for it.
Hi, good afternoon. We are so excited to be here today. My name is Jenny Long.
And I'm Celie Clark.
And we are
Jenallee! Wait, Lanny, where are you? There we go.
Lanny's raising the roof. Well, we are instructional technologists with Eagle Mountain Saginaw Independent School District, which is a little bit north of Fort Worth, Texas. And we have really kind of embraced this remote learning, and we just wanted to reach out to some of our friends that are going through the same things, whether they're administrators or teachers or maybe even parents. And we just thought, we should just connect with our community and our friends out there and just see what they're going through and, how they're reacting, and maybe some tips and some ideas that we can get from each other. So we are so excited to have our second guest. We just started this last night, so we're working out the kinks, but we have Lanny with us, and Yay! We are so excited. He is our first guest from over the pond, so we're going to let him introduce himself and tell you about him, and he's just going to share some things, and we're going to have a great time this afternoon. So thank you, Lanny, for being here. We are so blessed.
Thank you for the invite. So if you don't know me, this is where people often laugh. Everyone seems to know me as Lanny, but that's not my name. My mother calls me Paul, although my first name is actually Stephen. And when people ask me why, I tell them it's for tax purposes and laugh. And they all get confused, but no, everyone knows me as Lanny. My mother-in-law calls me Lanny. But I'm an IT and computing teacher from South Wales. And just to get something clear, Wales is not part of England. Wales is a separate country. It's part of the United Kingdom. Everyone says, oh yeah, Wales, that's in England. No, it's a different country. I teach at a school called Ysgol by Baglan, which is great when you speak to friends from abroad with them trying to pronounce these Welsh names. It's a Microsoft Showcase school. We're very, very proud to be a Microsoft Showcase school. I've been an MIEExpert since 2015, and this year have the great privilege of being an MIE fellow with responsibility for supporting the teachers and schools across Wales. Proud to be a Skype Master teacher, proud to be a Wakelet ambassador, proud to be a student voice ambassador with wonderful Flipgrid as well, and so thankful for the friends that I've got across the world, and those that I met at BET for the first time this year. And when the Jenallee Show rocked up at BET this year, I was a proper fanboy, and I went over and I had to introduce myself straight away, and we had a brilliant time together at the BET show, and I am thrilled now that I can say I've been on the Jenallee Show.
Yay! We were so excited to meet you. It was so funny because Flipgrid came up and they were like, Lanny's fanboying over you. And we were like, no, we're fangirls over him. And they were like, you just wait.
No. But no, I'm just thrilled. And if anyone didn't see last night with Scott, I watched that, and it was just brilliant. There was just so much to think about at this time for educators, because it's a global situation that we're finding ourselves in. And as soon as I watched that show, the first thing I did, I went on to Twitter and I followed him. Yay. And I'm looking forward to seeing the wonderful things that he's doing now.
And that's really great. We are a community, and we have to learn from each other. And we can't grow if we aren't asking questions and seeking out advice from others. And we're all going through different experiences. And it's just, we learn so much. Like I was sharing something with Celie earlier. I was watching a video from, I don't remember what, it was a group me or something. And I was like, Celie, did you know you could do this in Teams? So just, when you think not that we know everything about Teams, but there's just always new things. And it's just exciting when you can learn and share and pass that knowledge along, for sure.
But I mean, last night I saw the video that you had posted on customizing your backgrounds in Teams. So I jumped straight on the computer. I had the video running on one screen, I had my Teams on another screen, and I was changing it. And oh man, I I was in the rebel base in Star Wars. I was in the cockpit of the Millennium Falcon. And then I started thinking about, hey, I could have the town that I live in behind me and the beaches and everything. And then I actually went online. I thought, do you know what? Let's think about this for a minute. Let's find my classroom, because I know there's a photograph of my classroom. So I've got parts of my school now that have just been, I've got a classroom behind me. And the first thing I did was messaged people who kind of know some of the stuff I've done previously, especially around Skype-a-thon and the Microsoft Global Learning Connect. I've got a partner in crime called Joe Westermark, and as soon as he's a night owl just like me, and as soon as I worked out how to do it, I messaged him and I was like, Joe, get online now. We're going to Skype. I need to show you something. And kind of that's the way it is, and it should be. When you see something, straight away you should be thinking about a teacher who would benefit from that as well. And just give them a shout to say, I found something really cool, something that you could use as well with your kids at this time. Yeah. But keep posting those hints. I absolutely love them.
Well, and I was even telling Flea earlier, I saw from Kathy Kersey, or another mutual friend of ours, she posted a tip that she made a Bunsey background. And so she was using that background, and it was actually going to be like, say we're going to do a Teams training, and it actually had like the agenda that you were going to go through, or anything that you want your viewers to see, put that as your background, any information or tips or whatever, so that you have that going. So I mean, just all kinds of great ideas and ways to use those custom backgrounds.
But I love the way that whenever something arrives, kind of, if you say, on the doorstep for teachers, the first thing they try to do is try to hack it, and they try to, and they're like, right, can I do this? How can I do this? And then they straight onto social media sharing it. And I was really, really thrilled to hear that one of the local universities that does teacher training, the lecturers there have been getting the trainee teachers to open up a Twitter account. As at the moment they start training to be a teacher, Twitter's the place you want to be. And I mean, it's that's where you get real inspiration from, places like that.
Definitely.
I love that. I joined into, and Jenny did too, one of your ed chats the other night, and it was so great just to hear like different perspectives and a deeper view of different tools that you guys are using. And I loved it. And I mean, that global community means so much to me as an educator, and to me growing as an educator.
Well, it's interesting because that chat, that tweet meet, grew from something else. So originally it started off as something I was doing to try to get teachers from Wales engaged. And my buddy, Sarah Clark from Scotland, hijacked it with teachers from Scotland. And it was like a kind of invasion, but it kind of, it made sense to do, because we are in a very, very fortunate position in Wales, just as Scotland is. And I've presented a number of times at different places, and I've said, and I know that Adam from Jersey would agree with this as well, that in many aspects, the eyes of the world are on Wales with regards to digital learning, and the eyes of envy because of what we've got. When you think about it, we're a small country. There's about 500,000 children, pupils in schools up to the age of 18, 100,000 teachers, and Welsh Government invested in a platform that provided for every single teacher and pupil Office 365, Google for Education. There's another suite which my younger daughters really love using, called J2E. And yesterday they announced that, Monday they announced that Adobe Spark was coming onto the platform as well. So there's been webinars the last few days to get teachers excited about Adobe Spark. And Minecraft Education Edition was purchased for every single person on the platform. So it's kind of like, where can you have, where else in the world? Scotland have got it. They call it Glow. We call it Hub. there's a digital strategy in Wales. It's for the last few years, it's been made clear that if you're a teacher, no matter what subject you teach, you're a teacher of literacy, you're a teacher of numeracy, but now you are also a teacher of digital competency. So it's no longer the responsibility of the IT teacher to teach those skills in those lessons, but also the history teachers and the science teachers and the geography teachers. And that's why for us, we're really, really trying to push resources like the Microsoft Educator Centre with MEC, and get teachers, especially at this time, what a perfect time to invest in some really, really good professional development, when it's all about the tools that you've got access to and what you can do with your kids. And the remote learning courses that have just been launched are just perfect for this time. And how can I forget this? Flipgrid is also on Hub as well. And I've been talking with Sarah tonight, because she desperately wants Flipgrid to land on Glow. But you think about that now. Overnight, switch gets thrown, 500,000 children's voices can be heard because Flipgrid has been added to the platform.
Wow.
And they Welsh Government even invested on ensuring that every single child had access in their schools to excellent broadband, so that there was no school that was rural that said, we can't access these things. Every child can. Which is just that's what made that conversation that you joined so special, because it's not teachers just trying to find ideas, but it's teachers who are doing things and sharing things and wanting to make them even better because of what we've got in place already. So we're very, very fortunate and very thankful for what the government have done in Wales for us and allow us to do.
That's amazing. That is amazing. Well, I think we have some questions.
We sure do. All right, let me share.
I think I've got to go.
All right. Well, this first one is about that.
I'm so sorry. Go ahead.
Do you want me to, okay. So just as I was chatting a minute ago about Sarah Clark hijacking something, this is kind of an idea. I mean, tweet meets they're not a new thing, they've been around. I mean, there was a brilliant one this week with the Microsoft EDU tweet meet looking at remote learning. The only way I could describe it was fast and furious, because there was so much going on, so many different languages we were being moderated in. But when Sarah kind of joined one that I did with the teachers from Wales, with the others, we started talking afterwards, and we said, you know what, we've actually got common ground here. So let's do it together, and let's grow a larger PLN. So we just came up with the idea. You notice that MSFT Celt, because of the what we got in common being Celts with the Welsh and the Scottish. I'm sure it won't be long before the Irish want to kind of join in with us as well. And we just said, let's just keep this really simple. Let's go for 30 minutes and 3 questions, hence the 3 and 30 tweet meet. And we came up with the questions. We were looking at a real focus on Office 365 and how is it supporting well-being, and how is it supporting teaching and learning at this time. And it was an opportunity for people to share their success stories. And naturally, people will also ask for help and support in what they're trying to do. And if they've hit a stumbling block or there's a brick wall, they're not quite sure what to do. It's a forum for them to feel that without being judged, they can ask for help and support from peers. So that 30 minutes was, you can say it was 8 p.m. it started. I was still getting Twitter notifications from people posting about it at 11:30 in the evening. Wow. So this was still going on, and that's the great thing, and we encourage it, that it still continues. That, don't think that a conversation is just restricted to that 30 minutes, but keep it going afterwards. If you can't make it at the time that we were all live and on there, just keep posting afterwards. You make sure you got the hashtag. We all know about it. Mm-hmm. So that was really encouraging, and I was chatting to Sarah last night about when we were going to set the next one. And we've also been talking about having some future guests do a takeover, and I think it's going to be a case of watch this space. But I mean, it's new. This is the first one we've done, having it evolved from another one, and that's quite. It was a really exciting 30 minutes.
So really, you think it once a month? Is that kind of the?
Yeah, once a month. Once a month, we were looking at doing it and trying to get it to a point where people know without having to check calendars, you know, what week in a month it'll be. And we aim for 8 p.m. is what we aim for, because we found it's a good time, because teachers with young children at home, they would have got them down and settled, and they can feel, you know, it's not rushing at a meal time and things are starting to quieten down, and they can join in. You know, they may be sitting at the bottom. I used to do it, sit at the bottom of the bedroom with my mobile phone as one of my daughters was going to sleep, and I join in with these tweet meets that way. But yeah, it was brilliant.
And since you're in the future, it works well for us as too, because I think it's about 2 o'clock Central Time, so it really worked well. We were able to jump in, and
yeah, it was brilliant.
It was such a great chat. Thank you. It was such a great chat. I loved it. I was telling you that, oh my goodness, the conversations were so deep and authentic and real. Like I really enjoyed chatting with everyone. I will definitely jump in again.
Yeah,
brilliant.
Definitely. It was great.
Honorary Welsh now, aren't you? I think that's right. We made you honorary Welsh after last.
Yes, we did.
You got in before the Scottish.
I can't wait to come on our road trip. We've already been talking about it. I'm ready.
Yes.
All right, so we want to know, what celebrations or wow moments have you had during distance learning?
Wow.
I know.
I get a thrill from seeing how other teachers are stepping up. And these are teachers who will openly say that they're not confident. They are teachers who have tried to avoid maybe introducing some of these apps and tools into their classrooms so far. They've been reluctant, maybe because they're nervous about using them. But they found themselves in a situation where they needed to do something, and they didn't hide away, and they stepped up. And I think that as a nation, they can be proud of their teachers at this time, because it's difficult as a teacher. You know what it's like. You love being in front of the kids. You love seeing their faces, the laughter that you hear every day, the wow moments the children have. We don't get to see any of that at the moment. And I know as a teacher that's what fuels you. That's what spurs you on. But it's been brilliant. But there was one wow moment for me, and it was more of a kind of sit back, and it just knocked me for six. And it was at the weekend. Some people who know me, know my family, they know that my wife is a nurse. Thankfully, at the moment, I mean, she's been on leave because she's fortunate enough to have a term time contract. But she's in a position now, she's going back, she's a theatre nurse. So her hospital around her put all the things in place now, should they be called upon to care for COVID patients. So I get to see kind of the pressure that the medical profession put under through her and the way that she is. And I had an email arrive from a parent. I think it was the earlier, if the early hours of Saturday morning. It was like 1:45 Saturday morning, and I read it, and he was saying, Mr. Watkins, we've been trying to help our daughter with her distance learning, and the computer it's not playing ball with us, and she's having trouble accessing it, and she's worried that she's going to get into trouble because she hasn't been able to do the work. So I kind of emailed back and I said, look, just tell her straight away there's nothing to worry about. At this time, I'm sending the work home so that she has that form of normality at this time. There's something to distract her from everything that's going on, and there's challenges for her to do with related to the last topic of work that we were studying before we closed. And I said, whatever you do, I said, do not rush out and start buying a laptop or a computer. And that if what I'm sending out next week, she should be able to access, but if there's problems, can you get in touch with me? And I received an email back from the parent, and I'm not ashamed to kind of say this. I am very much a person who wears his heart on his sleeve, and I just broke down. And it was an email. I'm really holding it together. It was an email from him saying that he wants to say a massive thank you to myself and all the other teachers in the school for everything that they are doing at this time for the children, in the work they are preparing, in the support that they are giving. And as I read on, both him and his wife are nurses. And I'm there thinking, I don't deserve your thanks. It should be the other way around. The fact that you've got someone who's on the front line, both him and his wife on the front line, and he's staying up until 1:45 in the morning trying to support his daughter's education. It just blew my mind. And it was just to have that thanks, which I just did not think was deserved. When you kind of weigh it up, what I've done is nothing compared to what they've done. And that was a real wow moment, and it paints a far bigger picture, because at the moment we're just in like bubbles where we are. We're at home and we're just speaking electronically to our kids, and it brought kind of more of a reality to what's going on kind of out there, and what some of the families are going through as well at this time. But yeah, that for me was a huge kind of wow moment. It was like bells and everything.
Adam says you're making him well up.
Sorry, Adam.
But it's so true. I mean,
I'm gonna have to wait for a second.
I was like, Jenny's the one that cries out of the two of us. I'm surprised they're not rolling down her face. No, it's true though. We don't know what's going on in all the different homes of our kiddos, and something we've talked about even in our own homes, how difficult it is to make sure our kiddos are up to speed and their homework is done, and making sure they're keeping up with everything they're learning while we're also working, trying to help teachers. And I can't imagine in a home of two nurses that are dealing with all of this on the front line. So, yeah.
Well, and even too, we were in a webinar a week or so ago, and one principal or administrator, superintendent, I think, was even sharing that they have 300 kids they still haven't been able to identify or reach out to, and it's like, I just can't imagine, not knowing what the situation is with those kids. And we know there are kids that parents are both working and aren't getting food, and just the environments and the stress. And I mean, we know what our stress and our emotions are. I can't imagine those other situations. But
and then think of that with distance learning. Like, how should we be planning our lessons and knowing that that's what a lot of our our families, we don't know what all they're facing.
Yeah.
It really does change the way what we expect and how we design what we put out there.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, we definitely appreciate you too, and all the educators and teachers. And I try to, I've got all my kids' phone numbers. I'm like, thank you for all your hard work. I know it's, and they've had to learn something overnight, and just within days of stuff that they've never experienced before. So that's what we say. Kudos to everyone for just jumping in and being open and to learn new things. So on top of all the other stresses.
Yeah.
And parents that are having to learn these things to help their kids. It's like,
I'll be honest, I do have a giggle at the wonderful kind of tongue-in-cheek videos that are being made of parents phoning the teachers and saying, no, you don't understand. They need you now. Where do you live? I'll send them around now. I can't keep doing this much longer. Teaching is, I've come from industry. That's where I started my career, first of all, before I came into teaching. And it's one of the toughest jobs you can have, but also one of the most rewarding jobs you can have as well.
Definitely.
Just getting it into your head that even now, when we're not in a room with those kids, we can still impact their lives. Just them knowing that there's someone an email away or a message on Teams away from them, if they ever needed help or anything, it's we can be so thankful for the technology that we have that are enabling that.
Absolutely.
For sure. Okay, so let's see.
I don't know what happened. Sorry.
I think you were wanting to show my family on our district webpage eating dinner.
Totally, Jenny. I was trying to give you a shout out.
Cindy said the other day, she's like, look, there's the Long family on the district webpage eating dinner. I'm like, what? We're on the webpage? Oh, funny. So another question, and we've kind of touched on these, but what is the struggle that you and your teachers have faced, and how have you found a solution? So, I know we've kind of touched on a lot of these struggles, just family life and the unknown, and
just accessibility. For me personally, accessibility is the biggest thing. What the kids have got access to at home, and how you can engage with them that way. And I don't think during this, it's brilliant to see some of the schools who are giving out their devices, that they can go to school and collect those devices. But that's not the solution that a lot of schools are in a position to actually be able to do. During this time, are we going to have a solution to the accessibility and equality in that way? I personally, I don't think we will. But it's something I think that we always have to keep kind of in our minds and plan contingency plans for the future with something like this.
Well, and the device is really just the first step, right? Like, you get it home, you have to know how to operate that device, and then you have to have Wi-Fi for that device to connect. And, so there's so many pieces that go into making things equitable across all students' homes.
Yeah.
I definitely think that's one of the largest struggles, for sure.
Well, and it's different even within my home. I have, some are using their phones, some are using a Chromebook, some are using a Surface, and it's just like my daughter that's on the Chromebook. I'm like, oh, throw that thing away. It is not working. It's awful.
Yeah.
And, but then, thankfully we have some extra devices that I've almost been like, oh, I might want to go up to the school and get one of our nice Dell computers that my kids can work on, because we're struggling just with access here in a home that we have ample devices. But
you just think about if you've ever been away on a holiday somewhere, and you're in the middle of nowhere and there's no Wi-Fi signal, and you're with your family, but you can feel so isolated where you are. That's it, that phrase, and it cut off from the rest of the world. And I think sometimes people underestimate how much children rely upon the daily support they get from their peers. And that's the thing that concerns me, the kind of the well-being of them, the emotional well-being of them, that support structure they have is no longer there. And I think the isolation is the fear I have of what some pupils will have. That's my biggest fear.
That is a good one. And we don't know how everyone is dealing with it. You know, some people, like, I think my fourth grader is getting very emotional. Like, she's having emotional outbursts and just really having to just get, talk with her. What are you going through, and helping, because we all express our feelings in different ways. So really being sensitive to that is important.
And I think, like, my son wants assurance, like, oh my goodness, I haven't done everything. Am I doing everything? Like, knowing that they're completing what they need to, because he doesn't want to go to summer school or not get everything in that he's supposed to. So that adds another layer of, fear to the situation too.
Yeah. In some aspects, when we talk about struggles for teachers as well, something I was talking, you're going to laugh about this now. Behind my house is a massive cemetery. Okay, now it's not the type of location that some people would be happy living in, but we know, with social distancing, we took the girls around there this afternoon. What type of parent am I? I take my girls to a cemetery for social distancing, but it's lovely. It's just so green and there's lots of trees. And they were just going there and they were sitting down. They were finding flowers and they were drawing them. And talking to my oldest daughter, who's 12, and she was saying that her friend has got this structure in place, and she's working all day, and she's following the timetable, and she tried to do that herself and really struggled with it. And I think that what she is struggling with is what a lot of teachers struggle with, and that's comparing themselves to others. And although social media is a fabulous place for getting sources of inspiration and getting that support, I think at this time there are some teachers who are going on and they're seeing, and I know myself, I've done it at times when I've looked and I thought, I'm not doing anything like that. And you start questioning, are you doing the right thing? Am I a poor teacher? Am I letting the kids down? But really, it's just do what you know you do best. And your kids know that you're the best. And it's just kind of, don't start comparing yourself. I think that's where a lot of teachers have struggled. A friend of ours has been messaging my wife saying, what are the teachers doing in your daughter's school? And compare ourselves that way. And I think that's a struggle that a lot of teachers are doing. They're comparing themselves to others. Don't. You just be the best that you can for your kids, and they will thank you for it.
I like that. Another good tip from Lanny. Do what you love it.
I'm laughing these tips across the board. That's brilliant.
And I think that leads to our next question. What advice would you have for teachers? The next one.
Yes. Oh, but there we go. It is, but it is for teachers. Don't, like I said, it's at the bottom. You can read that. Look at that.
Oh, yes.
Use your time wisely to invest in some professional development. I've been joking around with a mate at the moment. I've actually been kind of editing some videos today because people talk about continual professional development. So we've put a spin on it and called it Closure Professional Development. And he actually contacted me, I think it was Saturday night, and he said to me, right, what good courses are there? What courses would you advise me to do on MEC at this time, the Microsoft Educator Centre? And I said to him, there's some really good new ones there on remote learning, and they're always adding new courses which have huge wealth of richness to them as well. So I started going through with him and saying, right, this is a good one and this is good. I'd have a look at this one. And it just got me thinking, saying, how many teachers out there are asking the same question and they don't know where to go for this professional development? They rely on training days in their school. They rely on booking onto courses. So we kind of came up with an idea where I'm going to challenge him every week to complete a course. and he actually is feeding. We've just done we've done kind of the first one. He actually got in touch. He said, I finished the course, I've done it. So it's kind of like him feeding back what he's learned, how it's going to change the way he kind of works at the moment with the kids, but in long term, how it's going to change when he gets back to school. What impact is it having on the now and in the future? So Challenge Joe is going to be landing soon, and it's really there to kind of help and support other teachers to say, look, this is out here, go and have a go at it, just the way that Joe's going about it as well.
I want to make sure I get the website correct. It's education.microsoft.com, correct?
Yes, that's it.
Sometimes I get it mixed up. I want to make sure that I get it right. But you're right. The MEC is amazing, and Jenny and I love it, and we talk about it all the time too. It really has amazing professional development for teachers to meet you wherever you are. Like, they have beginner level all the way up through advanced level professional development. What a great advice you gave, because we agree. And I love that you added in the feedback and reflection piece at the end. You know, because a lot of times Jenny and I will give advice or tell teachers, okay, go do this, you know, this will help. But then we got to check back in later and really make sure, you know, is this helping? Is this good? You know, where are you in this? So I love that you've automatically built that in with the teacher.
But I mean, it's really important not to treat MEC like Gollum treats the ring in Lord of the Rings, and like keep it yourself, and don't just be about kind of earning badges and earning points. But even, I mean, it seems like a bit of a pointless exercise, and it may sound like blowing your own trumpet. But seriously, when you complete the course successfully, and that option comes at the end and say, tweet out about your success, or post it on Facebook, or post it on LinkedIn, do it. Because it's not blowing your trumpet, it's actually signposting others to it, and people who may not be aware of it, because what you're doing is you're just throwing a stone out into a pond, and you've got no idea how far those ripples are going to go.
Love that. And the self-nomination process is now and opened up, so everyone can go in and nominate to be an MIEExpert for this upcoming year. So super excited about that. So that was great.
That link, and I will pop it in there as well.
So what do you think that things are going to look like in the future? I think this is just one of the $1 million questions. We don't know, but any thoughts?
I know what I'd like it to look like. And I'd like it's I'd like hoverboards and holograms. What I'd like to see is that teachers who've started to do new things now and have seen the impact that it's had, when we get back to school and you walk along the corridors, you're seeing them using some of these new practices as you look through the window into their classroom. And the time they're spending now in developing these new resources and looking at new ways of working, and the number of teachers, say for example, who are looking at, say, using PowerPoint recording to deliver their lessons, still use it. Don't just put it back on a shelf again and leave it there. I was sharing with some colleagues this week. Don't think that this is just for remote learning. You know, you think about the number of times you've had a request for work to be sent home to a pupil who's not able to attend school for whatever the reason, and they may be home a long time. Well, think about delivering the lesson or building up your resources so that you've got a batch of all the lessons from a unit of study with you delivering it, and you can just send them the URL, put it up on stream so that you've got the transcript that's there. But yeah, it's kind of being more forward thinking maybe in the practice, and looking at the skill set they've developed and their experience of the tools, and being confident enough to pick them out where it will enhance and enrich what their previous practice was. That's what I'd like to see. I don't want us to be taking a step forward and then 2 steps back. But take this confidence and this learning experience that teachers are having and move forward that way.
That's actually the word that kept coming in my mind as you were talking, was confidence. And that's funny, you just said it like 2 or 3 times right then, is just hoping that they will become confident. Because I think a lot of times some teachers were fearful of technology and they were fearful of pushing the button and trying out new things. And now they've had nothing but time to try these things out. And they've, kind of stuck in that time where they have to move forward. And so, like you said, let's keep moving forward and be confident about it and celebrate the new skills that we've learned. So that's awesome.
Lanny,
Mark thinks holograms would be
epic.
epic.
I was going to say, Lanny, you will like this one, because you would like the hologram, like the Jedi Council. I was like, your background go right with that. So
it was when I started doing things with Skype in the classroom. We were getting guest speakers in to do lessons. The number of teachers who said to me, "So does this mean at some point you're just going to be delivering lessons from your bed?" And I'd be like, "No." And in my head, I'd be going, "Oh, that's not a good idea."
Well, now with Teams backgrounds, you can be in your bed and
I can even look like I'm in my classroom.
That's right. That's right.
You can be anywhere you want.
All right, so we talked about that one. Yeah.
All right. Okay. So you'll notice the graphic looks very, very similar to the previous one. I just love that graphic. I love the plainness about it. Okay, so back before the pandemic started and closures all started happening, I got into a conversation with an MIE from the UK, from Wales, and we were talking about professional development. We were talking about just going out to meetings when you meet with other teachers, same subject teachers, to discuss kind of practice and ways forward. And they said, I never get an opportunity to go out. There's always restrictions in place, or they are the only teacher in their department, so they never have the opportunity to speak to other people or bounce ideas off someone, and they feel isolated. There's that word again, isn't it? They feel isolated, and just someone they can have a kind of throw something to and say, "What do you think about this?" So I got thinking about this whole idea of using Teams. Because in Wales, obviously, we've got Office 365, all the teachers are connected. And I just thought about, on a Thursday afternoon or a Wednesday afternoon, just for half an hour after school, grab a mug of tea or coffee, come and sit down for half an hour. And it was open to all teachers to come and join, and we were promoting it. And we were thankful that Hub have also been sharing this on social media as well, through their channels. Just to talk and build that PLN. And share some of the things that you've been pioneering in your school and the innovations there. And if you're trying to do something and you'd like to kind of some feedback or some ideas, just do that. And then COVID-19 hit us. And the first kind of week we were off, it got me thinking, now was the perfect time to do this. So Fridays at 11 a.m. in the morning. Well, because the AM is always the morning. You can tell it's late here. We just go onto Teams, and there's about 30 of us now in the team, and we just share things that we are doing. People are honest and upfront if they've been struggling with anything. And some people are there with their teas, some are there with their coffees. I get a lot of stick because I've got a lovely Flipgrid thermos, and I'm there, and they're all like, "Oh, promotion again." I'm like, no. But anyone who's fortunate enough to have it knows it keeps your drink so lovely and warm. But that's what we do, and it's just opening up, and we record the meetings so that if people aren't able to make it at that time, they can just watch it back. But what I've tried to do is make it so that you are in a coffee shop, and I'll tell people, don't think about having to go on mute. If you've got kids running around in the background, you'd have kids running around in the background if you were in a coffee shop. So don't feel that you've got to kind of, I can't join in because I've got kids here. So I just want you to feel this is informal and it's a group of friends who are getting it together. And we've had three calls now, and there's new faces joining it all the time. And we're really enjoying it. And it was really nice to see some of the teachers talking about how this has really helped them in the MSFT EduChat yesterday. So that was a real encouragement, that was. But hopefully this will go from strength to strength, and we see a wonderful community grow of peers in Wales.
I love that. I mean, that's where true growth happens, right? When we're real and tell authentically what's happening and really share what our struggles are, and then get real advice from people. I mean, that's huge.
Yeah.
Speaking of not muting or
I know. Although I didn't want my son to get in because he didn't have on a shirt, and I was like, "What are you doing? Get out!"
Oh my goodness.
Welcome to distance learning.
Yeah, that's great, Lanny. I love that.
And this is something, I'm going to be honest, I am so excited about. Okay, at the moment, all we are hearing about are things being cancelled. We're hearing about sporting events being cancelled, concerts, camps in the summer. Everything is just being cancelled. And people are stuck at home and are wondering kind of what they can do. And this is an idea that it would have been before Christmas. I threw it around with a few of the student voice ambassadors, an idea that I had to bring the Olympics to Flipgrid. And it sat on a shelf for a while, just so much was going on. And a couple of weeks ago, I was like, do you know what, I'm going to make this happen. So at the moment, we are like 85% there, ready to kind of launch it. So basically, whether you are in a house that's got a small yard, whether you are in a house that's fortunate enough to have a large garden, we are bringing I'm going to use this phrase, the modern day decathlon to Flipgrid.
That's awesome.
So it is going to be like the Olympic Games. We are going to have an opening ceremony where whichever country you are representing, you and your family can deliver your national anthem. You can be in a national costume if you have one. We've got events, simple ones, such as skipping, how many rotations in a minute. We've got shooting the hoops. So, and this is the best thing, okay? And this is where innovation comes into it. If you haven't got access to a basketball net, get a bin and either get someone to hold it, or somebody suggested opening a drawer and putting the bin in the top drawer.
I love it. Yeah.
And if you haven't got a ball, just roll some socks up. Okay. And shoot it. So we're going to go with like how many hoops in a minute, how many baskets in a minute. And we just want this to be real family fun. And it's getting out and it's being active. And we've got some kind of ones which would be the norm. But then we've got some real crazy ones which involve water and things like that. So I'm so fortunate. I reached out to 3 good friends and I said, can you give me a hand getting this up and running? So I'm so thankful to have my Met at Bet buddy, the queen of Flip Hunt, Kathy Kozlowski. She's on board and she's going to be helping with this.
Awesome.
One of the, I'll be honest, every time this person tweets, he brings a smile to my face. He's like, as far as I'm concerned, he's the gift king, Andy Knieven.
Andy. Yeah.
And if there is someone who you are not following right now, you need to follow him, because he is, and this is a word that's used quite a bit, but it's never used correctly, but I'm going to use it correctly now. He is a Welsh legend. And it's a gentleman called Barry Mock. And Barry Mock, if you're not following him on Twitter, I thought somebody was cheating, all right, Barry. But yeah, Barry Mock is absolutely amazing. So with the stuff he's doing with Minecraft at the moment, but they're on board. So watch this space. This is going to be launched soon. It's all to do. We're going to be judging on age for different events, but it's all about just having fun. And, the Olympics are going to go ahead this year, and it's going to go ahead through Flipgrid. So that's something that I'm really, really excited about.
That is really exciting.
I can't wait, except I need to borrow some of Jenny's kids so I can have kids on the bench to help fill in when we get tired.
Listen, we got a couple basketball hoops over here. We've got lots of jump ropes. We've got all kinds of stuff. So come on, we'll have it right over here.
I know. Can I just sit on the bench and I'll cheer really loud?
But I said, just get the family involved. Just get the family involved. I mean, it's Flipgrid at the moment is such a wonderful tool. I mean, on the webinar this week with Charlie and the Barrels, just the things that's going on with Flipgrid at the moment, the birthday wishes, that for me is a huge, huge thing. The kids hearing their friends sing happy birthday to them. I'm going to bite my lip for a moment because I know my daughter was 7 just after the shutdown started. And friends from across the world, educators, recorded messages of happy birthday. She'd never met any of them. She had happy birthday sent to her from every corner of the world. And one person even pretended he was in outer space. It was absolutely amazing. And she sat there with a smile going from ear to ear as if it was her best friends who were wishing her happy birthday. So, if you're not doing that, really look into it and setting that up. And the talent shows that are going on as well. We've kind of developed one for our school, so we're hoping to roll that out now in the next week or two. But yes, such a wonderful tool at the moment for keeping that engagement going.
I don't want to bring it down, but we've also been using it in our family. My father-in-law just passed away this past weekend, and we can't gather together for a funeral. And so his friends are doing videos and that we're going to share with my husband's mom this weekend. And so, like you were just saying, that is going to mean so much to our whole family to hear personal messages of sorry and also stories and reminiscing. So I think it's going to be a precious time for all of us. So thank you, Flipgrid. That's going to be.
Yeah. I don't think they could have ever imagined.
I know.
When Charlie was kind of involved in developing this for his students, where it is now. I mean, did you see the qualifying doctors doing their oaths?
Yeah.
I mean, just unbelievable, and it's so emotional. But Flipgrid enabled it. And it's a credit to that. I think it was like a tech support, tech integration person at the university who set that up. And I don't know if you've seen it either. There's a link. If you go to the grid where you can see all their oaths, you click on the link, and it's all messages of congratulations and encouragement from all of the people. And one of them is actually one of the greatest football players, as far as I'm concerned, who I think he captained the England soccer team. So he's actually on there congratulating him and giving him a message of encouragement as well. So it's it's just amazing.
It is. I mean, I did the same thing with my daughter. She turned 17 and she had teachers giving her blessings and all kinds of things. It's an amazing tool. Will there be Minecraft events in these Flipgrid Olympics?
That's what Mark Hinkles wants to know.
I'll be honest with you. It wasn't something that was considered because we wanted it to be outdoors, out and about, being kind of physically active. But to be honest, with Andy and Barry kind of on board now, who just seem to love Minecraft, I wouldn't be surprised if Barry's watching this right now and he sees that. He's already probably jotting down ideas.
Mark's your man too. Mark would be a great resource. He's a Minecraft.
They need to link up. You need to link up with Barry Mock, honestly.
Mark is amazing. Awesome. Well, that is exciting, super exciting, and so many different ways to use Flipgrid. And that is, and you said around Christmas time?
So the Flipgrid Olympics?
Yes.
Oh, no, we're talking in the next week or two.
Oh, what did you say?
Yay! Yeah.
What did I say? Christmas is when Santa comes.
Oh. I thought you said there was something around Christmas time. Maybe I was just hearing things.
Did I? I don't know.
I don't know. I could be making it up. Okay.
Yeah, so it's about 85% done. So yeah, next week, about 2 weeks, I reckon we'll be launched it.
Oh, okay. Maybe I just misheard you. Awesome. Okay, so soon, because I was like, Christmas, we gotta wait that long. Okay,
I know.
Good.
No.
Okay, good. All right, we're gonna get ready, Silly. We're gonna get ready.
I know. I'm ready.
Practice our hoops.
I got lots of socks and I got baskets. So y'all better watch out. I'll be practicing as I do the laundry every day.
Awesome. Well, thank you for sharing that. We're super excited.
No.
All right. What is our next?
I think that is the end of our slides. I think all we have next is who's coming next week.
Okay. Well, next week we're going to have Adam.
Or not
on
next week.
Show.
It's tomorrow. It's not next week. No, tomorrow. I know. December, Christmas, Santa, we're all over the place.
All the days run together now. So Adam is going to be on with us tomorrow afternoon. And Adam, we met Adam at BET also. So another Met at BET. And Adam actually jumped in our sessions as we were sharing about OneNote and Teams and the math tools. So Adam is a math teacher, and so he jumped right in and said, "Hey, can I help you?" We're like, "Yes, please." So he was
our math skills not so good.
So he jumped in and helped us with that presentation. So super, super great to connect with him, and you guys are going to love hearing from him too. But Lanny, thank you so much.
Thank you. Absolutely love
to know you, and we are so excited to continue our friendship and learn from you. And I just think after we came back from BET, I just couldn't believe it was just such a, we kept bragging on you guys in the MIE community over there about how just your hospitality and just your personalities, and we just felt so welcomed and at home there. And you guys were just amazing, the whole group. And thank you for welcoming us in. And we just feel like it is definitely true friendship, like you said. And it's amazing how just one encounter of physically meeting, but you just feel so connected to someone. So.
And that's why people should apply to be an MIEExpert.
True.
Because the community, it's not, as far as I'm concerned, it's not kind of American MIEs and British MIEs and Spanish MIEs. It is a global community, and at times a family. And when we were at BET and Adam was there, and he met some of the other amazing MIEs like James Prothero, who is doing amazing stuff in Wales with Minecraft at the moment, absolutely amazing, and Sarah Clark and Paul Dredge would have been around as well. It's like you've always been together, and you're not meeting for the first time, and that's what makes this community so special.
We will always have a Disney sing-along connection. Okay.
I'd like to make a GIF of that video. I have looked all over Twitter trying to find the right GIF, and I can't find one. I need to make my own.
It was memorable, I'd say.
Lanny and I had a good laugh. It was a good time.
Oh, brilliant. No, but thank you ever so much for this.
Well, Mark asked, is it math or maths? And that was one thing that we learned, that when we were talking about math, Adam would always say maths. And so I love the different dialect and everything. That's so fun.
Yeah, and you guys don't like using U's either in a lot of words, do you? Like colour. For some reason, you leave the U out of colour, don't you?
Yes, we do. And I think we spell the word theater different as well. There's a few.
Oh, I was like, you in color, what?
I'm with you, Lanny. I got you. Okay.
But it's maths.
Yeah, someone told us the other day, or when we were there, they were like, well, we would teach math, but you would need to say it correctly. It's math. I was like, oh, yes, we will start saying it correctly. They were just giving me a hard time. I was like, oh, that's good.
Maybe you can Adam, as a maths teacher, Adam may say something different and I'm wrong. So
maybe, I don't know.
I know.
Ask him, come back and ask him that question tomorrow.
Definitely need to connect with Mark. He is a great educator as well, Minecraft guru. So we'll have Mark on the show eventually too, so he can share. We did Mind Fair with him recently and big Minecraft expo. So super fun. And he's doing all kinds of great things too in the world of education.
Brilliant.
Well, and he said he's going to look up your friend. And Lanny, what was your friend's name again? Who's the Minecraft?
Barry Mock. So Barri.
Okay. Perfect. He said he's going to look him up.
Yeah,
okay.
He is brilliant. He's brilliant.
Perfect. All right.
No, it's super late there. We appreciate you guys staying up because it's 6-7 hour difference. So it's
like 11. What time is it?
It's 4 a.m. No, it's not. It's,
no, it's not.
I kid you not. I'm already. No, it's just gone 11:15.
Okay.
Oh, still, it's really late. Although you'll be up till 2 anyway, but you know. No.
1. It'll be early night for him. 1.
Yeah, early.
I'm shattered after this now, so I'm probably going to go to bed.
Thank you so much. We always learn so much from you. We're super excited about the things that you are doing with the community and excited about the Flipgrid Olympics. It's just going to be in a couple of weeks, so we'll be looking for that. We'll be practicing and we'll be ready to go. So you will see the Long family and the Clark family on there for sure. And we're just so grateful to you for being an amazing person and an amazing friend. And we just thank you so much.
And thanks for everything that you do, with your channel and the help that you send it out constantly. We really, really appreciate it. Please keep doing it.
Well, we will. No worries. Well, thank you, Lanny. You have a great night and get some rest.
I will do.
All right.
Take care, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.